So I just got done watching this Netflix series that is a few years old, but it's finally just hit Netflix. It's called Weak Hero Class 1. This is season 1. I think there's going to be a season 2 at some point this year. I'm going to have to look into that. There are going to be spoilers in here because, man, dog, I got to talk about everything that was going on with this. This is also based off of a webtoon, which is interesting. I want to kind of look into that as well. But man, I'm so glad that I got a chance to check this out. If you are a fan of like things like Cobra Kai, this is going to be right up your alley. Like Cobra Kai meets like Bloodhounds. There's a lot of just different themes throughout this whole entire series, but this is following 3 friends. Our main character, Si-eun, and his other 2 friends that he meets along the way or within the first episode is Su-ho. That's like kind of like the top dog of the school. Nobody really fucks with him. But with Si-eun, the bullies like to fuck with him. And I like Si-eun because he does not back down. He's always standing on business. He might not be the best fighter, but he definitely has that dog in him, and he will show you that every fucking time. He doesn't put up with no bullshit. And then we get Bum. We're gonna get into Beom-seok. He is a student that transfers there because of past issues he had with his previous school with bullies and stuff. There's a lot of themes of bullying. So I really like this. So I'm going to get into spoilers. So don't watch this yet. If you haven't watched the first season, go check it out on Netflix. It's 8 episodes long. I promise you're going to be locked in by episode 1. So the first half of this story just really focuses on the 3 characters that I mentioned, how they met, how they became friends. Su-ho becomes friends with Si-eun over time because he's kind of tired of these bullies kind of picking on him. And Si-eun, he's a very cold person, you know what I'm saying? He's very what's the word I'm looking for? I'll just use the word cold. Like he doesn't have any much friends. What's interesting about these 3 is that they're all kind of loners in their own kind of respect. Like Su-ho, he lives at the school, you know. Oddly enough, he has this little like arm pillow or some shit that he always uses. But like I said, he is kind of like the top dog. Nobody really fucks with him. He's the one with the hands, and how they kick it off was dope. And how things kind of get set up in the first 4 episodes, where you have the bully Yeong-bin. He tries to contact his cousin because Si-eun and Su-ho ends up just causing more trouble for them, you know. And how Beom ends up meeting or crossing paths with Si-eun is the drug of choice for the school are these like fentanyl patches, which is crazy. He puts it on Si-eun's neck, and now he's kind of like, he's all doped up and whatnot. And that's how they kind of first have their interaction. This is where Si-eun like has enough of it, and he starts beating the shit out of Yeong-bin. And this is where Yeong-bin gets the calling his cousin, and his cousin gets involved. Then that ends up getting into a whole brawl, and this is how the 3 of them kind of bond, you know, after kind of beating all their asses. Now Yeong-bin's cousin has to go to the cousin's boss and stuff that he gets, you know, all his money from. What's his name? Gil-soo. He runs this kind of gambling scheme to kind of hustle kids into working for him to kind of pay off their debts. He's kind of like a wannabe gangster, you know what I'm saying? It's a kind of a fun arc for the most part, you know. A lot happens in the first 3 episodes, because by episode 3, the guy Gil-sung puts like a price on their head, like, yo, you got to pay up 15 mil at within 3 days. You have Beom. He goes in and tries to steal one of his father's watches to kind of pawn and sell and try to just pay this up. But then it just becomes chaotic when the police get involved and whatnot. And then we learn that Beom has a lot of powerful connections. Like, his father knows a lot of powerful people to make things kind of go away. But then things really kind of kick up as we get done with the whole Gil-soo whole storyline. We get to episode 5 and we get the Beom kind of focused episode where we see how shitty his life is at home, where his father really treats him like shit, beats him the fuck up. And we also learn that in his previous school, he crosses paths with the same bullies, and something triggers something within him. And on top of that, Yeon, he starts to kind of fall for this girl, Young-e. Young-e was a part of Yeong-bin's cousins kind of group and whatnot, and Gil-so. And he feeling some type of way. He's feeling like he's replaced. He's definitely feeling jealous at this time. And it's just all this fucking buildup till he starts to kind of take it out on Yeon and Sung-ho and distance himself from them. And then he ends up getting a whole new friend group. He ends up making friends with the ops, which leads to a further rift between the group. And Yeon's trying to keep things together from escalating, but things between Beom and Su-ho is just getting worse and worse, even to the point where Beom is like ordering hits. He wants this guy that Su-ho used to fight back in middle school to beat him up, to injure him. They go as far as to cut the brakes off of his what is that shit, the moped or a scooter or some shit like that, so he gets in an accident. And then it gets to the point where we get to like episode 7, where Su-ho gets into a situation. Well, first it's Yeon tries to intervene himself to kind of protect his friends. He takes a beating pretty bad, but Su-ho gets it the worst, man. When he pulls up to the gym to fight old boy and to find out what's going on with Beom, because like he's been, they have murder beef at this point, because he's like, yo, I need to just confront him and see what's going on. He looks at him as like pathetic, and he's just tired of Su-ho looking down at him. He's really just projecting everything that his father kind of puts him through. It was crazy because like his father got to a point where he got tired of having to clean up his messes. So he's like, yo, I'm gonna ship you off to the Philippines. I'm gonna order a hit on your ass. Like, that's how evil his father is. And Beom makes mention that he might be adopted, or that might not be his real dad or some shit like that, which would make sense why he's getting treated that way. But understandably so, I could see why Beom's just hit his breaking point. And it even gets to a point where Beom and Su-ho have a confrontation by episode 7, and it ends up leaving Su-ho in a coma. And this man was so fucking sad. So sad, because I was like, yo, did he die? Is he about to die? No, he ends up just getting put into a coma. And this sends Yeon through a whole fucking crash out throughout the whole school. Yeong-bin gets it. Anybody that had something to do with putting Sung-ho into a coma, he was bringing the pain to him. And like I said, he doesn't know how to fight outside of the things that Su-ho pretty much taught him. But man, he just lets everybody have it. Anybody that gets in his way or had something to do with putting his boy in the coma, he just brings the pain to him. He doesn't care if like the teachers see him. He's doing this shit in school. He's walking motherfuckers down. And he gets to the point where he's about to beat the shit out of Bong, which Bong definitely deserves that shit, but he stops himself. Bong, he blames Young E for causing a rift, which leads her to kind of distance herself from the group altogether. The series ends with Su-ho still being in a coma, and now Yeon has to pretty much go to a different school with a bunch of other delinquents and stuff and whatnot. So that kind of sets up season 2. But man, what an emotional roller coaster from start to finish, and just the themes of friendship, betrayal, even falling in love, jealousy, just all of that. It's a really dope coming of age, very dark, man. Like, I was not expecting the story to take such a turn, such a dark turn, but man, this was like one of the best things I've seen all year, and I want to know your thoughts if you get around to checking it out. This is just my quick thoughts on the series, but until next time, I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.